Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today we've got a battle of the progressive bonuses as the Viper playing as the Byzantines in yellow prepares to duke it out with Mr. Yo playing as the Cumans in blue. Now while the players herd their herdables, explore their immediate oink oink surroundings and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Not a bad opportunity for us to take a look at the two civilizations we will be watching today. Now, the Byzantines are a civ designed to be as hard as frickin' possible to take down. Their structures get progressively more and more HP as the game goes on. 10% more. Take a look, 2640 compared to the usual 2400. In Dark Age, all the way up to 40% more. And by the way, unlike the Persian feature that applies to their TCs and their docks, this feature applies to every single structure, including their houses. And I don't know, I guess this is the only other structure on the map right now, but yeah, applies to all of their structures. Their bombard towers can be upgraded to do splash damage. They get town watch and town patrol free of charge, so they automatically see enemies coming from a mile away. And once the battle finally does start, their monks heal units twice as fast as normal. They can slow down enemy advances by spamming so-called trash units for days. Their skirmishers, their spearman line units, and even their camel riders are all 25% cheaper. And their unique unit, the Cataphract, is a heavy cavalry unit with a massive attack bonus against infantry that can take a good amount of beating because it has decent amount of HP and strong base armor. Now, when the Byzantines finally do decide to advance to the Imperial Age, they only pay 2/3 the cost of doing so, which does allow them to invest any resources that they might save into upgrading their Cataphracts even more by giving them trample damage and an even bigger attack bonus against infantry. Now, as cool as the Cataphract is, I'm not too sure we're going to get to see it. Mostly an anti-infantry unit against the Cumans, because they are not so much a infantry civilization as they are a lightning-fast mounted civilization with some of the niftiest features in the game. To start with, all of their mounted units get progressively faster and faster as the game goes on, all the way up to 15% faster in Imperial Age, which, by the way, if you haven't seen an Imperial Age Cuman Paladin, they are lightning fast. Now, all of this speed does help them better maneuver their unique unit, the Kipchak, a mounted archer unit that fires multiple arrows, although only the first one does full damage. Now, some Cuman mounted units, I'm looking at you, Scout Line unit, I'm looking at their Step Lancers and their Cav Archers, can all be upgraded to train in half the time. Now, if you want to put some fast early game pressure on your opponent, maybe destroy some of those extra thick, extra juicy buildings. For example, I guess we could take a look at some buildings now. Look at the mill with 660 HP compared to the, the camp, the lumber camp, compared to the usual 600. And the mill also 600 for you, 660 for you, because we have the extra 10%. Once the Viper goes up to feudal, it'll add another 60 on top of that. Anyway, we're not looking at the Byzantines. I got distracted so easily. As I was saying, if you want to destroy some of your enemies' structures earlier on in the game, the Cumans are the only civilization in the game that can actually build a siege workshop in the Feudal Age, although you are limited to training only rams. Now, if siege is a little bit too slow for you, you don't really want to destroy their buildings, you want to go after their villagers, their units, etc., you want to pressure them with ranged or mounted units, well, the Cumans also get a nice discount on their archery ranges and stables. Both of these structures only cost 100 wood, which means you can either rush up to Castle Age a little bit quicker with a little bit less wood, or you can build more of these structures in feudal and harass your opponent. Now, if military really isn't your thing, you're more of a pacifist player, you like SimCity, you like to build your settlement, you're more of a player of peace than you are of war, well, another thing that the Cumans can do that no one else can do in the game is they can actually build a second town center in the Feudal Age as well. Although remember, town centers do take a long time to build, and generally you do pull 7 or 8 villagers off of resource gathering in order to construct it. So not only are they not gathering resources, they're not gathering resources for a good amount of time. I believe one town center does take 2.5 minutes to build, and when you go up to 7 or 8 villagers, it takes I think 50 or 45 or 50 seconds, depending on the number of villagers. And anyway, the Viper is going up to 22 villagers. Mr. Yo already heading up to feudal off the back of 18, already has 270, 280, 290 wood. His villagers are moving south. This definitely looks like a TC to me. And there we go. 8 villagers building a town center is 45 seconds that these villagers are not gathering resources. That being said, unless it's punished, this is probably one of the strongest early game moves you can make in Age of Empires 2. Again, if not punished. Where the hell is the Viper going? He's seen the house. The hell's he doing all the way on this side of the map? I mean, you're playing against the Cumans. You need to be right there. You need to be in Mr. Yo's face to see whether or not there's a second town center play here. Because if there is, you're going to want to punish it ASAP. Attack path between the two bases, filled with a few forward forests, a big old mountain range in the center, as well as a relic. And Mr. Yo, unlike his opponent, looks like he went the wrong way initially. Now he's going straight for the Viper's base, discovers the pretty lemon bushes with the nice blue butterflies. As the Viper still miles away. Is he going to see the second TC? I really want to look at their bases to see where their resources are, but I'm kind of curious to see if the Viper is going to discover the second TC. By the way, he hasn't even discovered the first TC. Okay, he knows he's in Feudal. House has been upgraded, has a nice little canopy, a little bit of some wooden planks on the roof. And now he sees Mr. Yo moving out. First of all, why the hell is Mr. Yo moving out? Interesting gameplay. Let's take a look at the bases because I suspect Mr. Yo is going to be pulling some kind of shenanigans. Yeah, 4 villagers on stone already. And so it's not a matter of if, but where that tower is going to go. Now, going a tower after you've already spent your 100 stone on a second TC is a real stone greedy play here out of Mr. Yo. The Viper, primary stone off to the left. Gold is nice and secure to the back. He's already got 2 lumber operations going. Based on his resources and the fact that he went up on 25 villagers to Feudal Age, this tells me we are going to get to see a very lightning fast Castle Age out of our Byzantine. So no wonder he didn't really feel like scouting Mr. Yo's base. He says, I don't really care what you do. I'm just going to try to rush up to Castle Age, and then we'll see what he does in the Castle Age. For now, being able to shoo away Mr. Yo's villagers, not a bad second prize to killing any of them. As long as you can keep these 5 villagers idle, that is 5 villagers that are not doing anything at the moment. And so Mr. Yo's current lead of 6 villagers kind of reduced to 1 villager lead if we're looking at just productive villagers. So fantastic out of the Viper so far, using 2 spearmen, a scout, and some of his own villagers. Former berry pickers. We got a market. We got a blacksmith. We're going arena style play, and there is the Castle Age at the 13-minute mark of the game. Now remember, Mr. Yo needs to research Town Watch. The Byzantines absolutely do not. Viper deletes his own house, even though that makes him housed. He was housed a second ago. Now he's housed again. Mr. Yo tries to block his path with a house. The irony is not lost on any of us. Will this tower go up? Oh my goodness, he denies the tower. He denies the tower. Oh, I was too slow to click on it, but it looks like he got 57 stone back. So that tower must have been a what? The hell's 57 divided by 125? Oh goodness gracious, about 40, we'll call it 45% completion around. By the way, Mr. Yo managing to get the first kill of the game as well is now retreating. Okay, no discount on the barracks which, by the way, the Viper sees. And so fantastic again out of the Viper for keeping these 5 villagers. One of them is finally returning home with no HP. A replacement villager is being sent out. But this is really biting into the Cumans' economic lead. That being said, as the game goes on, and as the Viper fails to punish this, hasn't even seen it, that villager disparity is just growing and growing. What used to be 6 is now 16. And whereas the Viper was housed a second ago, now it's Mr. Yo's turn to be housed for another little while as this villager quickly hammers away at that house. Okay, archery range. Remember, these are only 100 wood. Oh, tenacious, stubborn Mr. Yo, undeterred by the first failed attempt, is now trying to lame this lumberjacking operation. But like we saw earlier, the Viper already has one to the back. He's in Castle Age. He's plopping his own second TC down in the northern portion of the map. Mr. Yo now is 3 kills to 0. The Viper is in Castle Age, but where are your Castle Age units? Okay, Scorpion is coming out. Tell me he's going to come out to the north side. Okay, good. Oh, the first bolt barely misses the villagers as they garrison inside the tower. I don't know that scorpions are the gameplay. I mean, everybody's Roman now, I guess, in the sense that they're scorpions all benefit from ballistics, but is that really a reason to go scorpions? Ree-hee-heely. Well, I guess if you look at it, the Viper doesn't even have a stable. The Viper doesn't even have an archery range. The Viper has got nothing here. And now he's training a single monk. Now, as cool as ballistics is, it is a very expensive upgrade for this time of the game. In early Castle Age, when you need 300 wood and 175 gold to train your army, the last thing you want to do is spend that almost 500 resources on an upgrade that may or may not be that great with your scorpions. This whole ballistics for scorpions has yet to be tested. It's not like the Romans really did that fantastic a job with that upgrade, or that bonus rather. First kill of the game for the Viper, by the way, as he guns down a scout without ballistics. So there you go. His monk is now moving out to get the relic. I'm assuming that he's seen before. No, he hasn't seen it. Now he sees it. By the way, for all of the Viper's scouting, he just saw this one relic, just now discovering the second with the spearman. And so, okay, he's going to return home with a few relics. Mysterio is still here, so he is also, by the way, going up to Castle Age. And the only thing the Viper has really done in the Castle Age, second town center, 3 monks, and 2 scorpions. High ground here. Okay, does convert an archer. Loses a scout, but does convert an archer. Let's see if this monk survives. He is getting healed. Remember, the Byzantines heal their friendly units twice as fast as normal. Beautiful little bit of micro there out of the Viper to save that monk, while at the same time keeping the pressure on this one forward archer. Kill count stands at a 5-4 as he now returns home with his first relic, because this monk needed to go pick that relic back up. Now, what is the name of the guy? First of all, I was struggling to understand why Mysterio was putting up a tower when he had already spent all of his resources on stone with that, or half of his stone resources on the second TC. His villager lead now is down to 14. I guess it used to be 16. 14 is better. Scorpions do come with a small attack bonus against buildings, among other things, and so, if repaired, could potentially take out this tower uncontested. More scouts moving forward. Ooh. Will they see the monk? Oh, he's right in the gray zone here. How awesome was that? But they see him. What will happen first? Will the scouts... No, they're light cav. So only 2 wackadoos to kill the monk. There we go. And the Viper with a quick wall off. What are you doing here? Getting sanctity for your monks. Okay. Make them a little bit harder to kill. Walling off his lumberjacking operation, but it looks kind of open there to the north of that house still. And now the scouts have entered here, and unlike the Romans, your minimum range is still just a 2 tile, which means that you are not going to be able to defend yourself against these light cavalry, but your 25% discounted camel might. Tinkle tinkle goes some spearmen in the Feudal Age. So we are in Castle Age. I feel like both players really rushed up to Castle Age. I don't feel like either of these players has any kind of clear game plan at the moment. I see step lancers are getting got for our Cuman and camels. I don't really see any kind of coherent game plan. Finally, the tinkling stopped, because there's a lot of Feudal Age units that have been around for the last 5 or so minutes in the Castle Age. Monk gets got. Light cavalry mission accomplished. Move out. Viper sees the step lancers. What's he going to do to defend against them is the question. Mr. Yo, 670 stone. The Viper 440. He just bought 300 stone. He sees the villagers moving. He knows there's a castle coming. He has no clue where it's going up, though. And there it is. Ooh, interesting location. Not a lot of military laming in this location, to be fair. Town center is kind of safe in terms of you want to keep jacking wood to the north here. And the Viper just lost 2 villagers. The first 2 villager kills of the game at the 25-minute mark as these step lancers starts a stacking. And when they're a stacking, they're a dangerous and they're a killing. 5 villager kills all of a sudden. So even if this castle for the Viper goes up, and it certainly looks like he might be... Okay, never mind. I was going to say the first to go up with his castle since he had double the villagers constructing it, but no! Holy moly! Oh, there you go. Wow. Okay. Spearman got another villager kill over here, but looks like he's about to die. That is very sour. The Viper just not... Why was he scouting all the way over here when he saw that house? I mean, again, I'm not a pro player, but I'm assuming if you're playing against the Cumans, you need as much information as possible. They can hit you so freaking hard in the Feudal Age. And if you don't suss out like a truffle pig looking for truffles in the, you know, in the forest, you gotta sniff them out, what they're doing. If you don't, pardon, wrong line of sight. Oh, never mind. Now he sees them. Okay, now when the game is over, he's finally seen them. But why was the Viper scout all the way over here? Why was it not hovering like a little tiny hoverer over here doing loop-de-loops, trying to see where Mr. Yo was going to take the game? Because if you don't know what the Cumans, like I said, they can hit you with siege. They can hit you with cheaper structures to pump out more units. They can hit you with an economic boom. Look at that, 22 villagers ahead. Although to be fair, minus the 11 that he killed a second ago, that was only an 11 villager lead because the Viper is on 3 TCs, even though his idle time is 3 more minutes than his opponent. Mysterio never really went up to a 3rd TC, spending, I mean, he had the wood and the stone for it, certainly did. But the Viper with 3 TCs was able to slowly start catching up, but this is just a very sour loss. Look at this puddle of blood. But why did he not scout that 2nd TC earlier? I thought, for a second, I thought he was just rushing up to Castle Age, just so he can start getting out knights and camels and pike and all that good stuff that the Byzantines can just start pumping out in huge quantities to say, it doesn't matter what you throw at me, I'm just going to try to counter it the way the Byzantines can counter it. But he didn't even have a stable when we checked the last time. So the Viper playing a little bit too economic, a little bit too laid back. Mr. Yo says greed is good, pulling a Gordon Gecko. Says, you know what, I'm going to not only go up to a 2nd town center, I'm also going to add a tower here to lame your wood line. And even though you've got a wood line to the back, and even though you've got another wood line to the back, yeah, that was just a very greedy, in a good way, build out of Mr. Yo. Let's take a look at the stats, because what a short, but what a eventful game the last 10-15 minutes have been. I mean, this is what I was talking about earlier. We're in the Castle Age, but we're with a primarily Feudal Age army, mostly spearmen, some monks, scorpions. How many conversions do we think on the monks? 2, 3? How many are left? Only 2. Where are they? Why are they not converting? Why are they not converting step lancers? Oh, why did it take me here? Because there's 1 monk returning home with a relic. Look at the Viper. He thought Mr. Yo would go for relic gathering. Wow. Okay, let's cancel the 1 monk. Where are you? Oh, I canceled the wrong monk. I really want to see where the 2nd monk is. What the hell are you doing here? I mean, this game for the Viper, the theme is, what the actual F are you doing over here? Monk, scout. In any event, let's take a look. So scouts, monks, and only 2 scorpions. PKPM, very impressive halfway through the game. Step lancers, light cav, and archers. I mean, for the longest time, these were scouts. But mostly the step lancers coming in, stacking, killing, wrecking. And Mr. Yo PKPM literally 20 seconds ago. So there you go. Economically, the Cuman ahead in every resources except for gold, which even if you remove the relic, gold is basically about 200 gold apart. So not really the biggest of deals, but about, what is that, 2,300 resources difference. So without the gold, 26, which is about 20% bigger economy for the Cuman. That's why you got to punish them. 1 conversion. So just that 1 archer that we saw earlier, and we saw the absolute destructive toll that these step lancers can take. They have 1 armor. Their pierce armor is a base of a 1, which is always nice. It's not as good as a knight's 2, but a 1 is not bad. It's not as flimsy as a camel 0. But at the end of the day, the Viper went greedy and got punished for it. Mr. Yo went greedy and didn't get punished for it. And that's just the name of the game when you play against the Cumans. You got to suss them out like a truffle pig, and you got to figure out what the hell is coming your way, because it is such a versatile early game civilization. There's been a lot of talk of the polls and whether or not the discounted bloodlines is going to make them a little bit safer in the earlier stages of the game when they're a little bit more weak and susceptible. But speaking of early game and power spikes and all that, you know, usual terminology people love throwing around, the bottom line is, if you don't know what the hell the Cuman is doing in the Feudal Age, you are going to lose the game. Maybe 9 games out of 10 when I've seen a high elo player not scout the Cumans and not see the second TC, or even when they see the second TC and fail to deny it or fail to punish it, they just lose. You can't compete with this. You can't compete with 7 step lancers, 5 still alive, because they're just going to run around. And then there's going to be a castle drop, behind a tower drop, behind a second TC. And that's why I really am a little bit confused. The name of the game, like I said, for the Viper this game is, why the hell are your units here? Why the hell is your monk over here? Okay. In any event, it is what it is. What a fun, action-packed last second half of this matchup. And the Viper playing a little bit too reactive, even though he did a good job trying to deny this tower initially. I love that he was basically laming those 5 villagers that were here for the longest time. And when your villager lead is only 5 or 6, having 5 villagers on the other side of the map basically means you have no villager lead, at least economically. But again, the Viper unpunished, or the Mr. Yo unpunished by the Viper, just got his economy up and running. And with those 11 villager kills, he is now 40% ahead in terms of a bigger economy. And he just slaughters these poor construction workers who just wanted to have a job. They just got their papers. They just went to the construction site. They just had their eggs and steak breakfast, and out of nowhere pop out a bunch of these step lancers, slaughter them left, right, and center. And Mr. Yo, with the very fun Cuman play, takes the W, but GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.